everyone, welcome back. In this tutorial, I'm going to show you how to make the most perfect chalkboard sign. I'm always in love with all the cute chalkboard signs and the sayings that I'm seeing, but I'm always thinking I cannot create those beautiful fonts and those beautiful letters myself with just a piece of chalk. So I'm going to show you how you can use your Cricut to cut out some really pretty sayings and how you can put them on a chalkboard with vinyl. For this project, you are going to need a few things. I am going to be using this Oracle 631 vinyl. To be honest, it's my very first time using a non-permanent. So I got the matte Oracle 631. I decided to do this because I want to do a fun little saying on this chalkboard, but I wanted it to also be removable because should I want to change it down the road or use this chalkboard maybe for a birthday party or something else, or for a different occasion, maybe Christmas coming up or a birthday party or anything like that, I wanted to be able to remove it. So 631 vinyl is supposedly removable, so I'm going to try that. And I also like that it had a matte finish because I think that's going to make it look more chalky other than the glossy finish. So we'll see how that all works out. So you're going to need some vinyl. You are going to need some rubbing alcohol in a little swab because we're going to just make sure that this chalkboard is all clean and ready to go. You're going to need a weeding tool. I use the Cricut weeding tool. It's my favorite tool that they have. Some scissors, and you're going to need a scraper. You can use the small one or the large one. And then you're also going to need some type of transfer tape. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we are going to measure the space that we have to work with. And I'm going to measure the actual chalkboard, 5.5 by 9. Okay, so we will need to know that information for when we go into Cricut Design Space and create the little saying that we're going to put on our chalkboard. All right, let's head into Cricut Design Space. I'm going to show you what I'm going to put on this chalkboard and how I'm going to size it to make it perfect and just make it look super fun and intentional. All right, let's go.
This is going to be actually very easy to do because we're going to use a pre-made design in Cricut Design Space. First things first, what I'm going to do is I am going to create a rectangle that is the size of the chalkboard that we're working with because it just helps me visually size the design I want to go on there. I am going to come down here and hit the unlock button because my design or my chalkboard is not a perfect square, and that will allow me to change both the width and the height. So I'm going to go up here to size, and I'm just going to type in my my size of or my measurements. So the width was 5.5 and then the height was 9. And I am just going to go ahead and lock that again, and this is the chalkboard. So this is just going to help once we get our design in here. I'm going to go over to images, and if you haven't been to, if you go to categories, if you haven't been to the categories area of Design Space, it is so helpful, especially when you just need some inspiration. They are all broken down by events. So it's, or just kind of themes in general. So I think that it's just a really good idea if you're kind of stumped on what you want to craft or what you want to put on a blank that you have, go in here. It's a really, really fun place. With Valentine's Day coming up, there's tons of Valentine's Day stuff. Every holiday's in here. So go ahead and do that if you kind of just need a little inspiration. The one I used was spiritual and religion. I found some cute things in here that actually persuaded me to make this a non-permanent project because there were so many different little scripture sayings in there that I thought were so sweet and so fun that I'm excited that I'm going to use a non-permanent vinyl because then I can just go in and change it out when I want to. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually just go back to images, and the one I'm going to use, I'm just going to type in the keywords. It was for we live by faith. And let me see if that'll let it pop up. Oh, it does. Okay, so it's this one right here. So I'm going to click on that, and then there's a little bar down here, and it just shows that I have put that in there. When I was originally trying to decide what I wanted to put on here, I just went through a lot of these things and would just kind of click on a lot of the ones that I really liked. And then they just kind of kept stacking up in here, and then you can insert all of them into your canvas. That way you can go in and see which one you like the best to work with. So I'm going to go ahead and remove the Faith Over Fear, although that's really, really beautiful, and I love the little leaf detail too. So I'm gonna have to remember that because I'll probably use that eventually. I'm gonna go ahead and click that out, and I'm gonna hit Insert Images. Okay, I'm actually only gonna use the white vinyl, so I'm gonna go up here and, oh, it's actually 2 different layers in here. So the first thing I'm gonna do is, I like how it is, it's perfect. Actually, I could move this, whoops. I thought I had this one selected only. Okay, it should, whoa. Let me try a different way. Let me maybe use my, there we go. I could put that down just a little bit. Right there, okay. Now that I have it how I want it, I'm gonna actually go in and weld these 2 together because I want it to print just like this. So I'm gonna hit Weld. And then I am going to click it again, and I am going to select white because I'm going to print it on white vinyl. Then I can go over here and size it for my project. This is why this background of the actual size of the chalkboard is really helpful, because you can just visually size it and see how you like it instead of playing a little guessing game. So I think that's about right. If you've watched my tutorials before, you know that I like to keep a little bit of negative space around the edges. I really don't like things to be, butted up against the edges, because I just don't think it makes it look quite right. I don't think it looks very professional. So I'm just going to click off to make sure. I think that looks really, really nice. I think I'm going to commit. Okay, so one thing I'm going to do is I'm going to click on the rectangle, and I'm going to come over here and hit Hide, because we don't want it to be printing a big black rectangle. So everything is sized how we want it. I'm going to go over and hit Make It. And it's showing me where it's going to go on my mat. Everything over here is perfect. We don't need to mirror it because we're just using vinyl. So I'm going to hit Continue. And then it's just going to connect to my machine via Bluetooth. And then when it pops up down here, we can select the material that we're going to use, which is vinyl. And now we just need to load our mat with our vinyl and get it cutting.
Okay, so my mat is loaded. Again, I'm using the Oracle 631 matte vinyl, and you can actually pick it up at Michael's, and you can buy it by the sheet. So I just bought a 12 by 12 sheet of it. Again, it's my first time working with a non-permanent vinyl, so I'm excited about the idea of it being removable like it says it should be. So I'm just going to hit the Cricut button because it started flashing saying it was ready to go. And while that cuts, I'm going to go ahead and do a little rubbing alcohol on the chalkboard just to make sure it's all ready to go. I've heard that the rubbing alcohol not only cleans the surface and, gets all of that grime and debris off, but I heard that it also helps the vinyl adhere better, so win-win. Okay. I love this little chalkboard. I actually got it at Hobby Lobby, and I love the distressed look of it. I've been shopping for a little chalkboard for a little longer than I care to admit. I think I got a little too picky about what I wanted, but I love the little distressed look of it. Okay, so that's perfect. So again, I got it at Hobby Lobby. It was $15.99. It was in the home decor section. It was 40% off, so I even got it cheaper. Or if it's not on sale, you can always use your Hobby Lobby coupon. And I can't remember what that quite brought it down to, but under $10. So super, super cute. Okay, so it's all done, and it's having me unload my mat. Okay, looks so good. Okay, I'm just going to flip it over and really gently remove the mat from the vinyl piece. And I'm just going to grab my Cricut paper trimmer and cut out my design so that I can save some of this vinyl for later use. So let me know in the comments, do you guys use permanent or non-permanent more? I feel like I always am using permanent, which you would want to use, you know, for outdoor use or items that are going to get wet, like coffee mugs or wine glasses. But this non-permanent is such a good option because if you're using it for indoor use, then it gives you some flexibility with being able to change out things. So look at the scraps that you get to keep. It's awesome. Okay, so we'll have to just be a little careful. Some of these little pieces are pretty delicate. So before I start, I'm going to turn this over and grab my scraper and just really make sure that everything is pressed down to the carrier sheet. That way it makes weeding it so much easier. Okay. Okay, and again, this is a design that has a lot of little curves and sudden changes in movements with the script text. So we're just going to go really slow. Take your time. It's always better just to take your time and go slow. That way you don't, you know, bring up any letters that are supposed to be staying put. You'll want to be really careful with the dots on your eyes or little commas because those really like to sneak up with the vinyl that you're trying to pull up. So just be really slow. I really liked this design particularly because I really like this banner down at the bottom. I thought it was a fun little idea and something that you would probably see on a chalkboard design. So I think that the little banner, well, the saying, first of all, is one of my favorites from scripture, but also the banner I thought was super sweet. Okay, so we're going to go through and just weed out the middles. So that is just taking out any vinyl from letters that have like a middle part in them. And in this design, it's quite a few. So isn't this a beautiful text? Whoever designed this did a beautiful job. I love it. And again, if you're a Cricut Access member, this design is part of the Cricut Access program, so it's part of your membership. You get to use it. Okay. You guys know I love weeding. It's so relaxing. Okay, so just take your time. Make sure that you also, when you're done with a portion, that you really go through and look at each letter to make sure that you did get everything out, because it's kind of a stinker when you get your design onto your project and then discover that you didn't weed out like a middle of an S or a G. It's fixable, but it's just a little bit of a stinker, so it's worth the 10 seconds to just really look and make sure. Okay, and on this one we're actually weeding the letters out, so these are a little bit smaller, so just take your time, and they should come up pretty easy. The thing about this is you're going to be leaving the middles of the letters on the actual project. So like this one, the R, it's so tiny, that little middle piece. So it's going to be a little tricky. If it does come up, it's easy to put back down, but it's easier if you can get it. Sometimes if you just put your little tool on there and just kind of hold it while you pull it up. It's a lot easier. Okay. I think it's gonna stay. So we're gonna run into that one more time with the A, where the middle is gonna wanna stay while the rest of the A comes up. So we're gonna just go really slow and just be really gentle and patient with it. You end up having all these little letters everywhere when you're done. Okay. It's looking good so far. What do you guys think? I think it's very nice. Okay, so here's that A again. I'm going to just scrape it down again just to make sure it's really there. Whoops. Really on there. Stay down, little guy. And okay, that one was a little bit easier. I love the pre-made designs that you can use because it just makes projects go a lot quicker. It's really fun to create your own and, you know, pair the fonts and be able to put your own sayings as well, but it's really like a score when you can just find something that's already pre-made and all you have to do is just size it and cut it out and wham bam, it's done. That's always really exciting. Okay, how do you think that looks? I think it's really pretty. That's gonna look so nice. Okay, so we're also going to be using some masking transfer tape. This is from Expressions Vinyl. We can just, let's see if that's gonna, it's not quite going to, you know what, I'm gonna do it anyway though. It's a little short, but it's gonna work. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna start laying it down. Okay, and then I'm going to cut from there. Okay. Perfect. Okay, so it doesn't quite cover these end pieces, but it will work, so don't worry. And if you're not confident doing that, just get a bigger piece. I'm just trying to save a little bit of the transfer tape because I like to save materials where I can. So again, just using the Cricut scraper tool, and I'm just gonna really make sure that all of the vinyl is starting to stick to the transfer tape. That way it peels off from that carrier sheet really smooth and nice. I would say that your Cricut scraper tool and your weeding tool are complete must if you're crafting with the Cricut. They are just a game changer. Okay, so I'm going to start from this bottom part and I'm going to go very, very slow. Again, we're going to want to make sure that the middle of those letters stay put, which they did. That's why it's really important to use that scraper tool because it really gets everything pressed down really nice on the transfer paper. That way when it's time to peel up, I mean, look at this. This is ridiculous. It's so smooth and perfect. Oh my gosh, that was so easy. Okay. So what I'm going to do, I should have done this before when I had a little bit more stability, but I am going to go ahead and cut off the edges because sometimes less is more when you're going to center something on your canvas. Whoops. Oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. Deep breaths, deep breaths. Okay. Sometimes when I go to make something easier on myself, I accidentally make it a little harder, but we made it. I should have done this when I had it on the carrier sheet, but I forgot. Okay. Okay, again, this surface was cleaned with the rubbing alcohol, and then at this point, you just eyeball it. You can use your measuring tape, but I usually just eyeball it. That is looking perfect. And if it's not, then it is pretty close. Okay, so I'm just gonna press in the center and then just press out with my fingers first. Okay, and then I'm gonna go ahead and use this scraper tool, and it's perfect size for this chalkboard. And I'm just gonna go in and really scrape it down. Okay. Then you can just slowly remove that masking transfer tape, and it's just, I mean, it's flawless, you guys. It's coming off beautifully, and I'm looking really close and there are no bubbles. Gotta wait for this banner part though to make sure I'm still right. Oh my gosh, it looks so good. You guys ever have that moment like right when you see the reveal where you just kind of get super excited? Okay, I just had that. All right, there it is. I'm in love with it. It's exactly what I wanted. It looks so pretty, and I love the matte look. I believe you can actually get the matte finish on Oracle 651 permanent vinyl, but it is only available in white and black. I'm pretty sure I'm correct on that. So if you do want to make this a permanent design, I do believe you can do a matte option in the white or black on the 651. Again, this is the 631, and I would recommend using a matte vinyl because, you guys, it looks like chalk. It looks perfect. Minus the dustiness of it, it looks spot on. So what do you guys think? I love the design. The little banner flag at the bottom turned out so cute. I'm in love. All right, you guys, that's it. How quick and easy, especially when you have a design that's pre-made, it makes it so easy. You just have to size it, cut it, and apply it on your design. Okay, if you thought this was helpful or you enjoyed this craft, make sure you give me a thumbs up below and make sure you please subscribe to my channel. And the next craft that's coming up is going to be super, super, super cute. So I want to make sure that you guys don't miss out. If you hit the little bell as well, then you will be alerted the next time I start crafting. All right, see you later.